This is my audience. Grandson. Yes, we have a great-granddaughter. Another grandson. I want to tell a story about someone who has never given up. My mother called me one day and asked me to come to Portland. My younger sister Diane had just had a baby and was living with a girlfriend of hers in an apartment. My mother was afraid she wasn't taking care of the baby and wanted me to go talk to her. So I called a friend to take care of my kids and drove to Portland. I went to her apartment and I could hear Aaron crying, so I went in and he was in his crib and all alone. I found my sister down the street at a party. I talked to her for a while and then I had to head for home. As I was leaving, I started to talk to myself. I'm 29 years old. All of my children are in school. Could I handle having a baby? But could I leave him there and not getting taken care of? I argued both sides until I reached the outskirts of town. I stopped and called my husband and told him what was going on and that I wanted to bring Aaron home with me if Diane would let me. He didn't see any problem with it. What was one more to add to the three we already had? I drove back to Diane's apartment and asked if I could take him home for a while. She said sure. And while we were loading him and his things into my car, I asked her when she wanted me to bring him back. And she said, never. Aaron has been my son since that day, and my children and husband accepted him into the family just as easily as I did. I am sure that Diane was doing drugs before she had Aaron, and that made him a difficult baby to take care of. He cried day and night for months, but we made it through it and everything was going fine. My mom and dad really spoiled Aaron. I think they felt guilty because of Diane giving him away. When my dad passed away, Aaron was 5, and my mother decided it was time to tell Aaron about his other mother. I wasn't really excited about that, but she insisted. She told Aaron that Diane had never planned on having children and wasn't able to be a mother, trying to justify it. But none of that really mattered to Aaron. All that he heard was that she gave him away. He knew that we loved him and we were his family, but he started to wonder what was wrong with him. That his other mother didn't want him, and his father had never even tried to find him. After that, things started going downhill. By the time Aaron was 12, he was heavy into drugs. When I found out, I tried everything that I could think of to get him to stop, but it was too late. At 15, he moved in with a family who had the children rob homes for them, and they would give them drugs in exchange for what they stole. I found this out after the fact and wrote the DA and got them to shut down. Aaron was in jail the first time when he was 16. Since then, he has been in and out of jail and prison most of his life. Every time Aaron was in prison, he would do good. He got his GED, he worked out, and found God. He would get clean and sober, get healthy, and get a positive attitude. When he would get out, he would do fine for a while. But when things got hard, he didn't know how to handle it. And then he would get back into with his friends who were all drug addicts, and things would go bad again. This cycle went on for 7 separate stays in prison. And each time he would get out with the same positive attitude and goals and work hard to meet them. He overdosed on heroin not long ago and died while he was in the hospital. Thankfully, they were able to bring him back to life. I asked him if he learned anything from this, and he said yes, not to ever do heroin again. And I said, don't you mean don't do drugs again? He just shook his head. After that, he went back to prison for 2 more years. Aaron is out of prison now and living in Tri-Cities. He has a job and he's been working there for over a year. So far, he is clean and sober. He said he is doing it one day at a time. He is a wonderful, thoughtful, and caring person when he is not doing drugs. And I am proud of him for trying so hard to have a normal life. We talk just about every day and I give him all the encouragement that I can. He is my son and has been since the first time I held him in my arms. I believe in him and love him very much, and I will never give up on him as long as I live. This time I am hopeful that he will be able to reach his goals and keep his positive attitude so he can have the life he really wants and deserves. It just goes to show that no matter how many times life gets you down, it's never too late to get up, dust yourself off, and put on your big girl panties, as my daughter says, and move forward towards the future you want. Anything is possible. This is my audience again. Grandson. Put your arm up. Great-granddaughter. And grandson.